I was halfway up the stairs when I realized the top landing was gone. Not like it was too dark to see, just gone. Instead of the hallway that should have led to my bedroom, there was only a smooth, curved wall of plaster, unbroken, as if the second floor had never existed. My breath caught in my throat. I'd been up there just 10 minutes earlier to grab my charger. I stood frozen, hand gripping the railing so tight my knuckles ached. I could still smell the faint lavender from my laundry basket upstairs, but there was no upstairs anymore. Behind me, my phone, left charging on the kitchen counter, dinged with a notification. I hadn't set it to speak aloud, but a voice came from the living room. "You shouldn't go up there." It was my voice. I felt the railing vibrate, like something heavy had just put weight on it from above, except there was no above. Then came the sound of claws skittering across wood, fast, sharp, and the low growl of an animal too big to be in my house. The air turned cold enough to bite. That's when I saw it. In the corner of the stairwell, just inside the bend of the curved wall, two eyes reflecting light like a dog's, but they were too far apart, too high, and then they blinked. I backed down the steps slowly, my eyes locked on that reflection. The thing didn't move, but the growl deepened, vibrating through the wood under my feet. Halfway down, the lights flickered and the eyes vanished, like they'd been swallowed by a void. For a second I thought maybe I'd imagined them, until I smelled it. Wet fur, but underneath, something acrid and metallic, like rusted iron left in the rain. The voice, my voice, came again from the kitchen. "It's already here." I turned the corner into the kitchen, heart pounding, and saw my phone sitting exactly where I'd left it. The screen was black, but every few seconds, it lit up with a single word: "Listen." The fridge hummed, the clock ticked, but under those ordinary sounds I could hear claws again. Not upstairs this time. Behind me, on the tile. When I spun around, the hallway was wrong. Longer than it should be, the far end swallowed in a black fog, and something was coming through it. At first, all I could make out was movement, too fluid for a person, too tall for a dog. The fog seemed to cling to it, hiding its edges, until the light from the kitchen caught something pale. A face. No, not quite a face. More like the idea of one, as if someone had sculpted a human head from smoke and bone, but forgot where the features went. Two holes for eyes, too wide apart. A long, uneven slit where the mouth should be. It stopped just beyond the reach of the light. My phone vibrated on the counter, the screen flashing, "Don't speak." Then, faintly, another sound. Tires on gravel. Through the kitchen window, headlights swept past, heading down the rural road behind my property. And just for a moment, I thought I saw her, an old woman in a nurse's uniform, standing at the edge of the driveway, staring straight at my house. The headlights vanished around the bend. When I looked back, the thing in the hallway was gone. Or so I thought. The light above me dimmed again, and from the stairwell came a wet, deliberate thunk, like a paw setting down, followed by another. I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon, an old fireplace poker, and edged toward the stairs. My mind was split between run out the front door and see what's making that sound, but my legs chose the second option before I could stop them. Halfway to the stairs, my phone lit up again on the counter. Not with words this time, just the front-facing camera. And in the thumbnail preview, I saw myself. Only I wasn't holding the poker. I froze. On the screen, my reflection stood in the same spot I did. Same angle, same lighting, but its hands were empty. Worse, its mouth was open, moving like it was speaking, though I couldn't hear anything. Then, one by one, its teeth began to fall out. From upstairs, or whatever was up there now, came a rapid clatter, like nails on wood. The sound grew faster, heavier, until it was pounding down the steps. I stepped back just as a black shape burst into view. It wasn't a normal dog. Its fur seemed to absorb light, and where its eyes should have been were pits, as if something had scooped them out. It stopped 2 steps from the bottom, crouched low, and bared teeth so long they didn't fit in its mouth. The air pressure shifted, making my ears pop. Every instinct screamed at me to run. That's when the house itself seemed to breathe. It was subtle at first, a faint inward pull, like the walls had drawn a deep breath. The curtains fluttered though the windows were shut. My stomach lurched as if the floor had tilted toward the stairs. The black dog thing's chest rose and fell in perfect sync with the house, as though they were sharing the same lungs. Its lips peeled back farther, revealing gums too pale, almost human. From somewhere above the curved wall, a voice whispered, not mine this time, not human either, just a drawn-out syllable, low and rattling, like wind squeezing through a grave marker. The sound made my knees want to give out. I turned toward the front door, but the moment I looked away from the stairs, the growling stopped. I risked a glance back. Gone. Not upstairs, not in the hall, not anywhere. Just an empty stairwell leading up to that impossible wall. Then the overhead light flickered, and the wall rippled. The curve seemed to deepen, forming an archway, and beyond it I saw a hallway that wasn't mine. Dim, circular, lined with doors that seemed to rotate slowly, like the whole structure was turning. Something was in there, waiting, and for reasons I still can't explain, I felt it wanted me to follow. I stepped onto the stairs, 1 foot at a time, gripping the railing so hard my palm cramped. Every creak of the wood sounded muffled, like I was walking deeper into a thick blanket. The air grew warmer, but it smelled wrong, stale breath and antiseptic, like an old hospital. Halfway up, I realized I couldn't hear the refrigerator anymore, or the clock, or the wind outside. Just my breathing and the slow, grinding rotation of whatever was beyond that archway. When I reached the top step, the curved wall was gone entirely. In its place was the circular hallway, swaying gently like the inside of a giant wheel. Doors slid past me, each one different. Heavy iron with rivets, painted nursery wood, a frosted glass hospital door with a flickering light behind it. As one of the doors drifted by, I caught movement through the glass. Someone walking down a dim hospital corridor, head bowed, wearing a nurse's cap. She stopped mid-step, as if she knew I was watching. Slowly, she turned her head toward me. Her face was blurred, shifting in and out of focus, but her mouth moved clearly enough for me to read the words, "Don't let it close." I didn't understand what she meant until I felt the floor beneath me tilting forward, pulling me toward one of the doors now sliding past much faster than before. It was closing. I lunged forward without thinking, my shoulder slamming into the door just before it could vanish into the wall. The impact rattled my teeth. For a second, I thought I'd stopped it, until the edges began folding inward, not like a door at all, but like the mouth of a drawstring bag. A deep vibration rolled through the hallway, and the air smelled suddenly of wet soil and rot. From behind me came the scrape of claws, fast, relentless, getting closer. I shoved myself through the narrowing gap. The moment I crossed the threshold, the spinning stopped, and I was in a narrow, dimly lit hospital hallway. The flicker from overhead bulbs painted everything in jaundiced light. The nurse was standing halfway down, motionless. Her uniform was yellowed, streaked with something brown at the hem. She lifted a trembling hand and pointed toward a closed door at the end. Before I could move, the walls around me flexed inward, plaster cracking, as if something enormous was pressing against them from the outside. Then came the sound I'll never forget, a single, muffled thud, like a giant heartbeat, followed by a deep inhale that seemed to pull the air straight out of my lungs. From behind the nurse's door, something began to knock. 3 slow, deliberate times. The nurse shook her head violently, her blurred features stretching unnaturally with the movement, like her face was sliding under her skin. She mouthed something again, faster this time, but the flicker of the lights made it impossible to read. The knocks came again, 3, louder and closer to the floor this time, as if whatever was inside was crawling. I took a step back, but the moment I did, the temperature plummeted. My breath fogged in front of me. From the far end of the hallway, where I'd entered, I heard the claws again, scrape, pause, scrape. The nurse suddenly ran toward me, her steps making no sound at all. She grabbed my wrist, cold as ice, and shoved me sideways into a supply closet I swear hadn't been there a second earlier. The door slammed shut, plunging me into darkness. Through the thin slats of the closet door, I could see the hallway. The nurse stood between me and the approaching thing. The lights overhead strobed, but in those flashes I saw it. Longer than a man, its limbs jointed wrong, its head brushing the ceiling. It moved in quick jerks, like frames missing from a video. The nurse turned her head toward me one last time. Her face had cleared, and now I could see her eyes, completely black. Then the door to my closet began to open from inside. I spun around in the dark, but there was no other door, just shelves stacked with dusty boxes. Yet something behind me was pushing them forward, toppling them one by one, making room for space. Not a passageway, not even darkness. A void. It didn't feel empty, it felt hungry. Cold air funneled past me into it, pulling at my clothes, my skin, like it wanted to peel me in. I pressed against the closet door, but the nurse was gone, and through the slats I saw the hallway bending in on itself, as if the walls were folding like paper. The thing with the wrong joints was gone too, but the air still vibrated, heavy with its presence. My phone buzzed in my pocket. No service, but a single notification popped up. The sender was just you. The message read, "You have to choose." Before I could process it, something stepped out of the void. It was me. Or close enough to me. Same clothes, same hair, but its eyes were the same bottomless black pits I'd seen in the nurse's face. It reached out its hand, palm up, like it was offering to help me out of the closet. And behind it, the void pulsed. I didn't take its hand. The thing tilted its head, studying me like a reflection that didn't understand the original. Its lips moved, but no sound came out. Only the faint rush of wind, like I was standing at the edge of a tunnel. Then, without warning, it smiled. Every tooth in its mouth was wrong. Too narrow, too sharp, and stacked in multiple rows like a shark's. The smile widened far beyond what a jaw should allow, until its cheeks split and the skin peeled back toward its ears. The closet's walls groaned, bowing inward. The shelves toppled, spilling boxes and glass jars that shattered soundlessly. The smell of rust and wet fur flooded the air. Through the slats of the door, I saw the hallway dissolve, tiles peeling away into black, ceiling lights swinging as if the building was underwater. The other me stepped closer, its fingertips brushing my wrist. My skin burned where it touched, the heat sinking in like metal left in the sun. It leaned in so close I could feel the cold of its breath and whispered, finally in a voice I could hear, "It's time to go back." Behind it, the void yawned open wider, and I saw the stairs to my own house, except they were upside down. I stumbled backward, but there was nowhere to go. The closet was gone. My heels hit cold wood, and suddenly I was standing on those upside-down stairs. Gravity didn't seem to care. I didn't fall, but my stomach lurched like I should have. The other me stood just below, where the steps curved into the dark. Its black eyes glimmered faintly, like they were catching light from someplace impossibly far away. From above, no, below, I heard the claws again. Slow this time. Measured. Each step sounded heavier than the last, the wood groaning under the weight. I glanced over my shoulder and saw the archway again, leading into the spinning circular hallway. But it wasn't empty anymore. Every door stood open, and in each one, something stood watching, shadow figures, tall and thin, their edges flickering like bad reception. They all turned their heads in unison toward me. The other me began climbing toward where I stood, upside down yet moving effortlessly, as if it knew the rules of this place better than I ever could. When it reached the step just below mine, it looked up, down, whatever, and said, "They can't follow if you jump." And behind it, I could see nothing but the black void, pulsing like a heartbeat. The stair beneath my foot shuddered, splinters snapping under invisible weight. The claws were closer now, echoing in my bones. Whatever was coming had patience. It wanted me to feel every second of it getting nearer. The other me reached out again, palm up, that shark smile fixed on its face. Behind it, the void beat like a second heart, each pulse tugging at me harder than the last. In the spinning hallway above, the shadow figures leaned forward, as if waiting for the choice. Some of them had mouths now, wide, yawning holes that seemed to drink in the dim light. The air tasted metallic. My phone buzzed one last time in my pocket. I didn't even have to look at the screen to know what it would say. Jump. The claws were almost at my back. I could feel the heat of its breath raising goosebumps on my neck. I closed my eyes. And then, I'm writing this now from my kitchen table. Everything looks normal. The upstairs is back. The hallway is the right length. No fog, no nurse, no dog, no void. But sometimes, when I check my phone, there's a draft message I never wrote. Always the same words. "You didn't jump far enough."